Okay. Welcome.
Okay.
There we go. We got welcome to Detroit in black and white. Are you back, Adolph?
Yeah, I'm back, and Allan Lengel, who likes to talk all the time, from Deadline Detroit. Eric Brown, one of our top contributors. How you doing, Eric?
Eric,
Can't
I'm all
hear
right about
Eric.
yourself.
So doing fine. And Jim Nardone, the resident law enforcement expert. How
I'm
you
no
doing,
expert
Jim?
in anything.
Oh,
But
yes,
I'm
you
happy
are.
to be here. Thank you.
We're gonna send you to your hometown of Taylor to clean it up, clean up the towing.
Well, I'm in Greenland tonight, so
Oh, what you gonna see? Trump is trying to do to Greenland what the business people did to Hawaii. They just said we want Hawaii, and they overthrew the Queen of Hawaii and took it over, and the U.S. government took it over from them. Listen, he wants to send troops to fucking the Panama. Yeah, anybody been to Panama? I've been to Panama,
I have not.
and I went to the canal, and they ran it better since they had it than all the other years combined. It's a money maker. Trump is pissed because he done had business people come, U.S. folks. He's saying American ships are paying too much to go through the canal. In other words, he want to do it. If he take it over, he's gonna double the prices anyway. That's some bullshit. So anyway, let's start off with. Go ahead, Allan.
They're going to rename it the Trump Canal, like the Gulf of America.
Oh yeah, we'll give. Listen, it is what it is. We'll see what he talks a lot of shit. We'll see what he's gonna do. This is Detroit in black and white, Wednesday edition, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. Jimmy Carter, I'll go to you, Eric. His legacy.
Habitat for Humanity. And he did it after he left the White House.
Yeah. Okay. Allan.
I think he's sometimes. I mean, he's criticized for not being the greatest president, but I think people overlook some of the stuff. Like he had the peace agreement between Egypt and Israel, which was huge. One of the first. I mean, a major step in the Middle East there. But I think he'll go down as a person, a humane person who cared about people and humanity. And look, he made it 100 years old, which is super impressive in a world where people are dying left and right every 2 seconds. For people to survive and last that long.
Thomas Jefferson and John Adams died at 90, and that was in the 1820. Shit. So we'll have people that live long. Herbert Hoover lived to be in his 90s. Reagan lived to be in his 90s, even though he was had Alzheimer's in his late 70s. And I don't know how people say that Reagan was the greatest president of this last 3-4 decades, when his last 3 years he didn't have a clue. And Jim, your take on Carter's legacy? You was talking the other day that he was the first candidate that you voted for.
That's right, 1980, and he lost, and that's been a long string of losses for me, I think. But anyway, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia in the late 80s, in 86, 87, and 88. And
what were you doing down there?
I'm sorry?
What were you doing down there?
I worked for EDS, actually, Electronic Data Systems. That was a division of General Motors at the time. And there was 2 spots in Atlanta that I thought were must see. And when you move somewhere, people want to come see you, right? So I took them to the Carter Center, which was in its infancy then, right? We didn't know then. And Auburn Street, where the second, where MLK is buried at this second. What's it called? Second Emmanuel.
Second Ebenezer?
Ebenezer, right? Second Ebenezer Church. Those were the 2 places that I would automatically take people to if they came to Georgia. Well, what I didn't know at the time, obviously, was in 1986. This is the tragedy about Jimmy Carter. This is the tragedy. He was known as not a great president, but he was just a man. And this man helped to eradicate guinea worm, which is a parasite that's widespread across the world. 3.5 million people had guinea worm. So you drink dirty water, the parasite goes into your body, and it has to come out through your skin. 3.5 million people acquired it in 1986. In 2023, 11 cases in the world. And a lot of thanks to that is Jimmy Carter. He raised over $500 million. But he's not known for that. Nobody's talking about that. And I think that's tragic, because once the worm's inside of you, it takes weeks and weeks for it to come out, and it comes out through your skin. So he collaborated with the World Health Organization, the CDC, health partners around, and his ambition was to get rid of this guinea worm before he died. And even when he was in hospice care, he was getting updates on the guinea worm. There were 11 cases in 2023 around the world. Went from 3.5 million to 11 cases. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and that's what I think he should be remembered for. Unfortunately, not too many people know about it.
How do you end up?
Go ahead, Al, and then I'll give
Jim,
my
I was going to say, Jim, how did they eradicate it? What was
well, filters? There was a lot of efforts they did, to try and clean the water, and there is no cure. There's no known cure. He went to Ghana in the 80s and saw like hundreds of people that had these worms working themselves out of people's bodies, and he said, we have to do something. We have to do something about this. So.
Well, welcome, Vanessa Moss. How you doing?
Hi, hello, everybody.
We're talking about the legacy of Jimmy Carter. I read somewhere where when they brought his remains to the Capitol, President Biden say, "Is that casket for me?"
You got jokes.
He thought they was gonna bury him. Well, anyway, you don't like my jokes. Vanessa, your legacy take on Jimmy Carter. You have none, huh?
No. I'm just trying to think of the.
Yeah. He did so much that
I'm going to say the Habitat for Humanity, humanitarian.
Well, he did that. He created the energy department, education department. Yeah, he doesn't get credit for a lot. What killed him, besides inflation, etc., was the failed rescue of the hostages in Iran, and they played a part in him losing, because they said, well, Reagan is up in the polls. We're not going to negotiate until Reagan played on it. Reagan said, when I get elected president, day one, we'll bring the hostages home. And guess what? Okay, soon as he got elected, boom, they had a deal. Yeah,
He also changed the Panama Canal. I think he turned it back.
No, he gave it back to the rightful owners.
Right.
He gave it back to people. Thousands of people died building that canal for the Western world, and he gave it back, and he got beat up on that, and he pardoned all the draft evaders that ran to Canada and other places, and I just read with somebody from Trump camp say, yeah, he let all the draft dodgers back. That's a disgrace to Vietnam veterans. Trump, he invaded the draft. He didn't even go. None of his relatives served in the military. His grandfather fled Germany because he didn't want to serve in the military. So you know what? Jimmy Carter, as president, he had some bad luck, but I don't think it was a failure. And I don't think, from what I read in history, that he was the worst president. We don't have worse presidents than Jimmy Carter. We got one coming in office now. So yes.
So Marlon's tuning in. Vanessa, do you want to talk to our viewers for a minute?
You
We
know
can't.
what? Let me exit my full screen so I can see what they have to say, and I'll talk to them. What's up? Hi, Marlon. He said, "Why is Trump so ha?" I don't know what he's asking. H-A.
Well, speak
Asking,
English.
Marlon. Yeah, Marlon, I don't understand your question. But good evening, and thank you for watching Detroit in Black and White. And for those that are watching, like, subscribe, and share. And we want you to chime in, but it's very important that you hit that like button. Hit that like button, hit that like button, and share.
I think
Well,
Marlon's keyboard's sticking a little bit. So
okay, listen, you know what? It's something that came to my attention. The auto show is back in the winter, January. Now, for 30 years or 20 years, they threw Detroit name off in the auto show, the North American Auto Show. Now, the guy get on TV who's running the auto show, Detroit is back. Oh, hypocrites.
Listen,
That's unfucking believable. Now it's Detroit.
Listen, I don't understand it. They moved it the summer because they said that the weather is better and they felt like they would get a much bigger attraction, that kind of thing. And then they moved it back. I don't understand the whole.
I understand it because nobody has anything to do in the wintertime but go. Here it is. In the summer, people they go get their boat, they go on vacations, they do all kind of shit. Allan, what was he gonna say?
Look, the auto show is a different animal. I mean, originally it was the Detroit Auto Show. It was huge. It was international, and then it changed its name to the International Auto Show. Whatever they would attract 5,000 journalists from. I remember I would go sometimes. They'd have 2 days before the show, they'd have the media. There were 5,000 journalists from Japan, Germany. Now it's pretty much local. The problem is these are really expensive to put on. A lot of the auto shows around the world have gone out of business or have shrunk, and Detroit is part of that. And some of the companies are not participating, Mercedes and some of the other ones, Hyundai. And I think part of that is the internet now. You can introduce cars and you can do things that you couldn't do before. And so,
well, we can go to CarMax Auto Show and all these other places where you can buy a damn car. I remember when Detroit controlled Cobo Hall and the state wanted to make it an authority. We gotta move the auto show to Oakland County if you don't create an authority. I said, well, create the mother. Let it go out to Northville, whatever. Move the auto show. See, but our little state reps and those folks up in Lansing, we don't want to lose the auto show. People that ran the Masonic Temple said, we gonna move out of Detroit. I say, are they gonna move the building out of Detroit? Who gives a fuck? What they gonna do? See, they put a gun to the city's head. Boom, we gonna close down the Detroit Science Center. Oh, they changed the name to the Michigan Science Center, so they got more money. The game is game. Why? When they want to erase somebody's identity, that's what they do. You can change the names.
You can change the name, but you can't change what in fact it is. I got a question for all of you guys. Are any of you going to the auto show? Are you going to the big prom night on Friday night? Eric, Jim, Allan. Well, Allan, I know you homebound, so I know you can't go. Yeah. Adolph, I know you went last year, Adolph. Are you planning on going?
Yeah, I want to see what they got. I might do a Richard Pryor and Silver Street, get in one of those cars and drive it out of Cobo. That's what I'm gonna do.
That would be a negative, no.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm not.
Okay, no, I'm not.
You're not going.
No, Marlon said. I'll get back to Marlon. Marlon said, "Why is Trump so hated in Detroit?" And then he says Carter was better than Biden.
Well, I have a question about that.
I doubt that.
That's what I was trying to get with Adolph. We've had,
Before you go on, let's take a break and come back, and you, Jim, will continue your comment.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Welcome back, Detroit in Black and White. Before we left, Jim, you had the floor.
Well, I was just going to ask you and Al and Vanessa and Eric a question because, you know, we've had a lot of people on our show. The two of them, one of them was Wayne County Sheriff Raphael Washington, and one was the former Deputy Mayor Todd Bedison. And on our show, they often explain why Biden was better or Vice President Harris was better for Detroit than the other guy, DJT, Donald Trump. So if you could expand on that when you started talking about money for whatever museums, can you just kind of expand on that? Why people in Detroit don't believe that the president-elect?
Well, if you talk to we can't talk to Coleman Young, but you talk to some of his top folks that are still around, they would tell you that Jimmy Carter was great for the city because he had an ally in Coleman Young, and Coleman Young campaigned for him and delivered Detroit and delivered Michigan for him. When Reagan got elected, because Coleman Young was calling Reagan all kind of names like other people do. They called him prune face. So when they asked the mayor, now that Reagan is elected president, what do you call him? He said President Prune Face. But President Prune Face proved to be vindictive because there was $800 million on the table that Gerald Ford and them put for a, what do you want to call it? Not a subway, but a rapid transit system, and they took it off the table. So yeah, you can have an ally in the White House, regardless of what the rest of the country think. If they delivering the goods to you, you're gonna love them, know. And the people that don't get the goods, don't get the favors, gonna say, well, he was a mediocre, or they were mediocre. They didn't do much, etc.
So
fast
Adolph,
forward to today.
With that being said, is it your belief that Detroit had an ally in DC with President Biden?
Yeah, I think so. I think that and the allies here failed him because they didn't step up to the plate, and the way it went down. Not that he could have been persuaded a year or two ago not to run, etc., but he wasn't. People waited to the end, and they just sat there. It was a whisper campaign, and they put the squeeze on him. And Harris, listen, he had his mistake. Well, not just his mistake, his administration mistake. They know how to put people on ice, and they put her on ice for almost 4 years. She had nothing to do Probably read the newspaper every day. That's about it. Then he said she was in charge of the border. Where she go down there once or twice, and then she was put out on the stage. That's like I'm supposed to be an understudy on a Broadway show, but I never practiced the script. And then they forced the lead actor out, and here I gotta come and take over. Allan.
Adolph Mayor. I just want to clarify, when you say she was ahead of the border, her job was to go to some of the Central American countries to figure out ways to keep people from migrating here, to make it better conditions there.
That was a losing proposition. But the Republicans, I have to give them credit, because they created the narrative and they never backed down. Listen, the Democrats had Joe Manchin on one end, had AOC on one end, had your woman over in Dearborn, Rashida, on another end. They was killing each other. It was a civil war in the Democratic Party, and they wonder why they lost Congress. Eric.
Well, to Marlon's question about why he is so hated in Detroit, that's a very interesting question. First and foremost, a lot of people that say they do not like him, they didn't vote for him, and they didn't vote for the Democrat. They look at the numbers, look at the turnout in Detroit. So, to the expense of not liking him, they did not like the other side either. And one of the biggest problems with the Democrats is they had a very terrible process of selling their message. Jim talked about Raphael Washington and the former deputy mayor Bettison. At the end of the day, they know about what was coming to Detroit, but what did Detroit and the Democratic Party do to sell the message of what good things came to Detroit? And at the end of the day, you look at and Marlon said Carter's a better president than Biden. There's a poll that came out. The last 10 presidents, the bottom two are number 10, Nixon. Number 9 was Biden. So
Nixon was not a bad president. Listen, he might have been crooked, but Nixon is the one that created affirmative action. Nixon, the one I couldn't have went to school because of grants and shit from the Nixon administration. Now, was he a bigot? Probably. Was he this and that? Yeah, he had an enemy list. He was everything. It's just like the rest of these people that hold office and stuff. So you can say, and he did the right thing when it looked like they was going to impeach his ass. He stepped down. He understood what it was to be president. Now he killed himself taping people, and if this was other folks, they would have destroyed the tapes, not 30 minutes or 40 minutes of it. Yeah, so that's all subjective. Who's the worst president? Andrew Johnson was the worst president, or Herbert Hoover, or Warden G. Harney. You can name some of these assholes who came into office.
Well, it sounds like to me, Adolph, when you're going through history, it sounds like to me that you're saying that a whole lot of them were buttholes. America still stands, right? And we still.
There's no question. There's no question. Just like the Supreme Court, we had a Supreme Court in the 1890s that said segregation and separate but equal is the law of the land and shit. And then it moved down the years. We had a court that says that's bullshit. This too pass, which shall pass. Listen, all those folks that's sitting up there on the Supreme Court, they're not going to be there forever. Seems like it, though. But, in our lifetime, we might not get what we want, but somebody's going to be happy with a court.
Well, you know what, though? At the end of the day, listen, just like you said, things change. And I'm not even going to say people evolved. I'm just going to say that things change. You never ever know when it gets to the Supreme Court, you never know what they're going to do. You can say because this person was selected by a conservative that they're going to rule in a conservative way, but that's not necessarily true. So, we really don't know. At the end of the day, something that Eric alluded to last week, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I will say to this extent that there's nothing we could do about what happened in November. We got to live with it. And listen, those people, the people that are in power here in Detroit, you may not have an ally in DC today, but you need to be working on it tomorrow. Because if there's some way that we can benefit from a relationship with people there in DC, then you do it. We know that this guy that's in office is an egomaniac. So if you have to appeal to his ego,
and you might
do that and stop with your own political agenda. You alluded to a few people that you talked about 3 people today. People that represent Detroiters, listen, put your ego down and represent Detroit.
Well, they not. Allan, rewind it on. Go ahead, Allan.
There's a little video. It's a few seconds.
Well, folks, if you want to see classless, despicable, shameful, just trifling as hell, this is what took place on Friday.
No. It's okay. I won't bite. We're going to bite. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States? Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, especially for your work. Thank you. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today, and I thought it was despicable, especially when they ran the tape and showed how he interacted with Biden and he interacted with who was that before? Or Pence before he shook their hand and everything. So the question was it sexism or racism? What was it?
No, he was an idiot. If you don't want to shake some people's hands, listen. I've been where he been. Right there. There's some folks that wanted me to shake their hand, and they was one was a governor, and I wouldn't shake their hand. Fuck it. You know what? It is what it is. If the vice president know who she's dealing with, I wouldn't even reach out for her. Yeah. Jim,
go ahead. It says more about our country and our people. She's the vice president of the United States, and I don't think you'd be
obviously, if that was a Democratic senator husband and they did that to Trump, Fox News will go berserk. Okay, we come to this part of the show. Final thought, Eric.
Vanessa hit on something. You did too, Adolph. And at the end of the day, going forward, if we as the people are not making demands, you get what you pay for. People continue to complain. People can continue to bitch, moan, and whine. But if you're not making any demands, that's on you.
And let me add to that, Eric. Not just demands, but if we don't hold people accountable, why are we even having a conversation? Right.
That's the other part. Right.
Why are we even having a conversation? There should not even be a conversation. Your name should not even be on the ballot. If we cannot hold you accountable, your name should not even be on the ballot. But the electorate has, I'm not going to say dummy down. I don't know if it's apathy. I don't know if it's, listen, we just sick and tired. I don't know what it is. But if you want to make a difference, you have to hold people accountable. You have to make demands and hold them accountable. All of them.
Jim.
If you're an R or D or an I.
First, thanks to everybody that's watching. I see a few of you are out there, but you're not responding and talking with us. We appreciate when you comment and participate.
They just came to listen to you, Jim. They don't want us to talk. There's enough talking heads on here. Go ahead.
Marlon made a point that Trump is going to do wonders for the Detroit auto industry. I don't know what the Detroit auto industry is anymore. So
Unless they gonna start making Teslas at every plant. That's the shit that they gonna do. And Allan.
Well, when you talk about the tariffs and stuff, I mean, look, Canada is interchangeable. Canada is shipping parts here all the time and vice versa. Mexico, it's going to be crazy to really impose heavy tariff. I think it's interesting that Trump wants Canada to be the 51st state. It's like they don't have enough gun violence. Their healthcare the costs are too low. They got to come on, and we'll show you how to do it right.
Well, anyway, we'll be back on Friday at 8:30 and Saturday at 10 o'clock at McShane's, Michigan and Trumbull. I guess Eric, Jim, Vanessa.
Say what?
Vanessa, you did your final thought, or was you just piggybacking off an Eric?
No, final thought. First of all, I want to tell Marlon, thank you. Marlon says that you Adolph for Detroit. Hello, Marlon. But what I want to say is this. In 2025, we are demanding that we do something different. And we're asking that you hold us accountable. How are you going to hold us accountable? By liking, subscribe, sharing, and commenting, because we want to be able to respond to the questions that you ask. So hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment, keep commenting. Thank you very much. We'll see you on Friday.
There's no question there. Nobody's going to say nothing about their hometown team.
Go Lions.
We thought you were going to.
Oh, didn't they? They won, right?
Fuck the Lions.
Okay.
We don't care about the Lions. They cheated. They cheated last Sunday. They cheated. They need to overthrow the game. But anyway, well, the Lions, one thing, they're going to be good for the economy in Detroit. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But they're not going to win the Super Bowl. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
Why do you say
they won it. They're one and done. We'll be back on Friday to continue the conversation. I am a hater.